Welcome back to Recap It. Today we are going to recap a 2009 romantic drama movie titled The Proposal. When Margaret, a New York editor, threatens deportation, she convinces her assistant Andrew to marry her in exchange for a promotion. However, her vacation to his homeland transforms her in a variety of ways. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to this channel. Now without wasting any further time, let's begin, shall we? Andrew Paxton wakes up late, rushes out of bed, and rushes to work, only to be bumped into by another employee, who spills coffee on his shirt. He hastily asks another employee for their shirt, which they quickly provide to him. When Margaret Tate enters the building, people start sending each other instant messages on the internet, saying things like "it is here" and "the witch is on her broomstick." Margaret Tate is the executive editor-in-chief of the book publishing company Colden Books. Her employees, including her assistant Andrew Paxton, despise her, and she dismisses a senior editor, Bob Spalding, for failing to get an author named Frank to be interviewed by Oprah. She forces Andrew to marry her after knowing she is being deported to Canada. As his destiny is bound to hers when the government investigates, Mr. Gilbertson notifies /Thumb that they will face rigorous testing to verify that the marriage is not false. Andrew agrees unwillingly on the condition that he be promoted to editor and that his novel be published. He also forces Margaret to propose politely to him on her knees in the streets of New York and to allow him to notify his parents they are getting married. The two are compelled to spend the weekend with his parents in Sitka, Alaska, in order to sell the lie, where they would be attending the 90th birthday party of Andrew's grandmother Gammy. Margaret is quite unreceptive of Alaska and is furthermore shocked to find that Andrew's family owns most of the business in Sitka. They attend a surprise party for them where Andrew catches up with his ex-girlfriend Dirtrude. After he is humiliated by his father Joe Paxton, Andrew announces that he and Margaret are getting married. They are forced to tell the engagement story and kiss, and do so passionately, exhibiting the first shows of respect for one another. Andrew's parents then show them their room and Gammy offers them a unique blanket called Baby Maker, which they shun. Andrew and Margaret sleep apart. Andrew on the floor and Margaret in the bed. Margaret Tate wakes up the next morning to the sound of her phone ringing. She goes outside after waking Andrew up with her noisy conversation. Kevin, the family dog, chases her down and is scooped up by an eagle. She reclaims Kevin, but the eagle steals her phone instead. Grace and Gammy are looking at her from inside the home, so they figure she's just playing. Following the incident, Andrew informs Margaret that he, his mother Grace, and Gammy are going shopping. The shopping turns out to be a male strip performance put on by Ramon. Margaret talks to Gert about Andrew, who tells her that they dated in college and that when Andrew asked her to elope with him, she refused because she didn't want to leave her home. When Margaret returns home and takes a shower, she discovers that there are no towels, and when she attempts to grab one, she is stopped by Kevin. Meanwhile, Andrew confronts his father after he apologizes and requests that he take over the family business, despite the fact that he is content in New York. He goes to their room's balcony and strips naked, while Margaret goes for a towel. After distracting Kevin, he runs into Andrew and notices her tattoo before heading to the bathroom. That night, Andrew and Margaret exchange a few details about their background and discover that they both enjoy the same music. Joe and Grace arrive at the door with breakfast the next morning. Andrew and Margaret rush into bed, fumbling for a good position for a few minutes before allowing them in. They grudgingly accept the family's suggestion that they marry the following weekend to coincide with Gammy's birthday. Andrew is under duress because his marriage is a ruse. Margaret tries to console him, and she discovers that she actually cares for him. She goes on a bike ride into the woods to sort out her emotions, where she meets Gammy giving thanks to nature. Gammy urges her to dance with her, and the two end up breaking dance while Andrew looks on. After acquiring a new phone and visiting an internet cafe, Andrew drives her to Sitka, where she attempts to call New York. Gammy and Grace, on the other hand, arrive and take Margaret to be measured for a dress created by Gammy's great-grandmother and a necklace that has been passed down through the Paxton family for generations. She hijacks a boat and attempts to explain why she can't do this to Andrew, but she falls off after he takes the driving wheel. Andrew returns for her, and the two of them return to his home. When they arrive, they discover that Joe has contacted Mr. Gilbertson, who has urged them to admit once more. Andrew, the phony, furiously denies it. Margaret decides she can't do this to Andrew and discloses the business arrangement in front of everyone, including Mr. Gilbertson, who tells her she has 24 hours to get back to Canada and so returns to New York to collect her belongings. While she is packing her belongings, Andrew arrives at work and professes his love for Margaret in front of the entire office staff, proposing marriage once more. And this is where the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, until next time.